When people think about Goku, they think about hope, kindness, and never giving up. But long before Goku became Earth's greatest hero, there was another Saiyan who made one impossible choice. His name was Bardock, the father Goku never truly knew, and his story is one of the greatest tragedies in Dragon Ball. Saiyans were feared across the universe. They conquered planets, destroyed civilizations, and worked under Frieza's command. Bardock was no exception. He wasn't a hero, he wasn't a protector. He was a warrior who lived for battle, just like every other Saiyan. At least, that's how his story began. Unlike Goku, Bardock wasn't raised with compassion. He grew up in a culture where strength meant everything. Weakness wasn't tolerated. Mercy wasn't admired. The Saiyans believed power decided a person's worth. For years, Bardock accepted that way of life without question, until one mission changed everything. After conquering another planet, Bardock was cursed with visions of the future. At first, he didn't understand them. He saw destruction, his people dying, a familiar face standing against Frieza, and a child who would one day challenge the greatest tyrant in the universe. Those visions weren't just terrifying, they forced Bardock to confront a future he couldn't ignore. When Bardock returned to Planet Vegeta, something felt wrong. Frieza had ordered all Saiyans back to the planet. To most of them, it seemed like nothing unusual, but Bardock saw the truth. Frieza wasn't gathering his army, he was preparing to erase it. He had grown afraid of the Saiyans' increasing power, afraid of the legend of the Super Saiyan. Fear pushed Frieza to make a decision that would change the universe forever. Bardock tried to warn everyone. He pleaded with his fellow Saiyans. He begged them to listen, but no one believed him. To them, Bardock sounded paranoid. One warrior against an entire empire. One voice ignored by everyone around him. Then came the moment that defined Bardock forever. He could have hidden. He could have accepted defeat. He could have tried to save only himself. Instead, he chose to fight. Not because he believed he could win, but because it was the right thing to do. One lone Saiyan flew toward Frieza's massive army, knowing exactly how it would end. It wasn't a battle he expected to survive, it was a final act of defiance. Bardock's attack failed. Frieza's power overwhelmed him. Planet Vegeta was destroyed, along with nearly every Saiyan who had ever lived. From the outside, it looked like Bardock lost, but history tells a different story. Before Planet Vegeta was destroyed, Bardock had sent his infant son away, a child named Kakarot, the boy who would become Goku. Bardock never watched him grow up. He never trained him. He never heard him laugh. He never saw him become a father. He never knew that his son would fulfill the very vision he had seen. Years later, Goku defeated Frieza, the tyrant Bardock couldn't stop. In a way, Bardock's final stand wasn't the end of his story, it was the beginning of Goku's. One of the saddest parts of Bardock's story is that Goku never truly knew him. There was no heartfelt reunion, no father and son conversation, no chance to say goodbye. Their connection exists almost entirely through sacrifice. Bardock gave his son a future without ever being part of it. What's fascinating is how different they became. Bardock was shaped by war. Goku was shaped by kindness. Bardock fought because it was his duty. Goku fought to protect others. And yet, despite those differences, they shared one important trait. Neither of them backed down when innocent lives were at stake. In the end, father and son became heroes for completely different reasons. Perhaps that's why Bardock remains such a beloved character. He wasn't perfect, he wasn't always noble, he wasn't even trying to become a legend. He simply refused to surrender when it mattered most. That single decision transformed him from another Saiyan warrior into a symbol of resistance. Sometimes being a great parent isn't measured by the years you spent together. Sometimes it's measured by the future you make possible. Bardock never got to know Goku, but because of one impossible decision, the universe did. And maybe that's why Bardock's story still resonates after all these years. He was the father Goku never knew, but the father who gave him the chance to become the hero the universe needed.